Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another virtual edition of Wake Up Naples. I'm Michael Dalby. I'm the president and CEO of the Greater Naples Chamber, and we're delighted to have you here with us today. Great opportunity to hear about the future of Collier County. As we kick off today's event, we always want to recognize our Wake Up Naples series sponsors. These businesses help us to be able to put on the entire Wake Up Naples series, and we want to thank them for everything. Also want to acknowledge our investors, starting with the Chairman's Circle Group. These are businesses that underwrite all the work of the Chamber and allow us to do all the things that we do. So we'll start off there with the Chairman's Circles, investors, Arthrex and Collier Enterprises. And then we also want to recognize our legacy leaders. You can see all those businesses that are legacy leaders of the Chamber. We again appreciate their contribution. And we've also got our benefactors as well. And all these businesses make it possible for us to be able to do the work that we do as a chamber in our major areas. I want to thank again today's sponsor for our event, which is the Naples Daily News. And we've had such a great partnership over many, many years with the Naples Daily News. Obviously, Bill Barker serving as our past chairman this year and was chairman for last year. Great supporter and great visionary here in our community. The Naples Daily News is a growing and diverse multimedia company that produces exceptional products 365 days of the year. From the award-winning Naples Daily News, which has served the region for more than 90 years, to a growing number of websites, magazines, community newspapers, and special events, the Naples Daily News is unmatched in delivering valuable information and services to Naples and to Southwest Florida. And at this time, I'd like to introduce Shauna Devlin, who's the Vice President of Sales, who'll tell us a little bit more about the Naples Daily News. So Shauna?
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much, Michael. So I am happy to be with you all, and we are honored to support this event. So the Naples Daily News exists to enrich the community that we serve, and we do that through two main tracks to fulfill this mission. One is through journalism that connects our market with news and information. And the other is around helping businesses thrive through marketing solutions. And I just wanted to spend a few minutes talking a bit about how we've been fulfilling on that mission and through those tracks over the last several months as we've all been dealing with COVID and the challenges that come from that environment. So over the last several months, we've spent more time as a community consuming information online and digitally. And as the leading source of information in our community, we've experienced really strong audience growth as a result. In fact, it's resulted in 81% increase in users. And so I don't know about everyone on the phone, but we're still in pockets and in teams working from home. Welcome to my office. So as we're working from home, just that explosive digital consumption continues to grow, and we're seeing that on the websites that we manage. So we're really thankful for the trust that the community places in us as they turn to us for news and information. We've shared many stories with you over the last several months, and my favorites are the ones that highlight how our community is thriving through the challenges that we face. So they've been stories around how businesses are innovating to continue to serve their clients, how teachers have adapted to a virtual teaching environment, and how our very robust nonprofit community has responded to the needs of our neighbors. We're also incredibly grateful for the business relationships that we've had. We partner with business owners and marketing directors at the very start of this situation. We work to retool campaigns quickly to respond to the changing environment that we were all working through. And now it's really about, as those consumer user behaviors are changing, as how they are researching is changing, how do we adjust tactics to really make sure that we're delivering an ROI? We also know that many businesses are struggling. And so we wanted to use the power of our audience to help there as well. So at the beginning of this, I think at the end of March or the beginning of April, we launched Support Local, which was an initiative where a website was launched to provide a free directory for businesses to list their gift card information. And in concert with launching that website, we started a digital and print media campaign to encourage the local market to purchase gift cards to use now or to use later to help those businesses. And lastly, over the last many months, we've held multiple virtual marketing sessions where we've been able to bring in experts within categories or within certain marketing tactics and connect them with business owners, all in the spirit of helping businesses thrive. So one of the benefits of so many of us working remotely is that it's been easier to connect experts that might not be here locally within a certain category or within a certain tactic to the business owners that we have here. So we've been happy to be that conduit. We're really honored to be part of the Naples community. We're thankful for the trust that you place in us. And like everybody on the phone, I am looking forward to enjoying the rest of this session this morning.
Thank you, Shauna. Appreciate that. Thank you very much. And again, we also have a budding partnership here with the Gannett Local IQ component as well, and we'll be rolling out some more further information on that too, which can be another help to our business community. So really want to thank the Naples Daily News for their support. Today's session is being recorded, and so you'll be able to have access to it afterwards. Also, I want to remind everybody that if you've got a question you'd like to ask, you can use the chat or the Q&A function, and we'll kind of synthesize those questions and we'll ask them after Nick's presentation. So we're really thrilled to have Nick with us today, Nick Casalanguida, the county's deputy county manager, who has been serving so many ways, particularly during this COVID crisis, and just trying to help us continue going forward as a community. Nick joined Collier County government in 2004 with more than 15 years of experience as a principal in a Massachusetts-based engineering and consulting firm. He served as the deputy county manager since 2015. In this role, Nick serves as the county's chief operating officer and is responsible for the management and oversight of all agency operations and finances. So Nick, I'm going to turn the time over to you and give you control of the slides and all, and hopefully be able to have great information from you, and we'll take some questions after you're done. Does that sound good?
Sounds great, Michael. Thank you very much. Good morning to everybody out there. Shauna at Naples Daily News, that was great information. I appreciate you guys being the sponsor, and thanks for everything you guys do as well too. I'm going to take you through a slideshow that's a little bit of everything, and obviously whenever we do one of these, it's hard to cover everything the way you want to because there's so much going on in Collier County. So I'm going to turn this thing on. And is that popping up on the screen?
It did. Perfect.
I love this picture because I think it kind of exemplifies what we're kind of dealing with. We're grunting and grinding as a team to kind of get through everything that's going on. Everybody's struggling together. I showed this to my kids last night. They kind of chuckled, said, which one are you, Dad? I said, I'm the old guy in the corner cheering these people on. I don't have the same spry ability as I had before, but it's all about teamwork. I can tell you the team from the chamber to the sheriff's office, to the school district, to Collier County, and all the community business leaders, we are working together through all of this. Cover a little bit about local conditions, and this is not new to y'all. Obviously, the biggest hit right now is the hospitality sector that we rely on so much. Down significantly. I mean, March, May, 10% occupancy, and currently we're about at a third. And adjusting our TD revenues as well too by a third. Interestingly enough, and this is the highlight of, I think, what we'll kind of get out of today a little bit, is there's still a significant amount of investment going on in Collier County. And I think that speaks volumes of what I touched on a little bit earlier about the community and its attractiveness to everybody there. With confidence being low, there's a lot of construction and investment going on. This is a slide I like to take you through all the time, just to tell you back from 2007, when we were at a high of $1.3 billion in net budget and a population of 313,000. We're cresting at about 400,000 right now, and our budget is just coming back. That big leap last year was the sales tax, which I'll talk to you a little bit more about. But Population continues to trend up in Collier County, and our budget has recovered from an ad valorem side of the house. On the sales tax side, as we passed that surtax, we brought in sales tax pretty ahead of plan. And then you can see back in May, June, it dropped off significantly as what we expected. It's a 7-year plan. We expect it to be done in 6. Now we're thinking it's probably going to be 7 years again because of the decrease in revenues. But a lot of projects have gone out the door based on this. Important part, the county's received $67 million in CARES Act funding through the federal government. It has to be expended or accounted for in this calendar year by the end of the year. So they've broken it out into 5 categories: individual assistance, small business, childcare, emergency food assistance, and community health and services. The pie is broken out that way in terms of funding, and we can make those adjustments with the board coming back in the fall. So it's important, look at that website, write it down if you get a chance. If you're a small business in Collier County, pass this out to everybody, www.collierflcares.com. Sean Callahan in our office is leading that charge. We have a call center during the day, and you can jump on this website. It'll give you the phone number to call if you have questions. All the neighboring communities are doing the same thing. This is a real opportunity, so don't miss out on it if you have a small business in the county and you have an opportunity to take advantage of some of this. From our recovery plan, we've talked about TD. We've got to let people know. We reacted at first. We're rethinking where we are. We're not going away. We're not trying to advertise to bring people outside the county really in. We're just letting people know we're here and we're taking robust measures to protect you if you do come to Collier County. Obviously, the mask ordinance is something that's controversial. The positive thing about that is we're just telling people we care about your health and please come back to Collier when you're ready. Talked about the cut in TD revenues. It's big. We were on plan to collect over $31 million, which would have been about 10% above plan on a $28 million revenue collection. We're expected now to collect $20 million, a 30% cut in revenues. The good thing is because we manage beach renourishment out of TD revenues and beach park facilities, we had funding in there for a parking garage as well as beach renourishment. So we have $46.9 million in reserves. We're not tapping those reserves, but it's important to note that it's not going to affect any capital projects like beach renourishment or advertising when the time comes back to let people know, come back to Collier County. These innovation zones, people talk a lot about what it means, flexible zoning, financing, area investment. It's actually starting to take shape. When you'll see in a couple of slides I have here right now, there's one in Ave Maria, there's one in Activity Center number 9, there's one in Golden Gate City, and we've got the 2 CRAs. It allows for enhanced zoning and financing plans, and you're going to see that people are starting to step in and take advantage of these. So it's a good thing. This is the Golden Gate City Economic Development Zone. The final adoption is expected the fall of this year. Already interest, and we're talking to all the business owners along that corridor as well. Brett Batten, a stroll on the Golden Gate Parkway of the future. I think that's important because it's an area in the county where a lot of investment is going to take place. I'm going to talk about a couple projects that I visited recently or had the pleasure of working with people. We took a personal tour with Dennis O'Keefe about a week ago. Wow. If you have not seen the facility, if you took the virtual tour, great. If you've had the chance to go out there, Reinhold and Arthrex, that area is amazing. The wellness center, the hotel that's there. And we're actually talking to Reinhold about the Naples Daily News building, Shauna. If there's an opportunity there, Michael, we haven't talked to you yet about that training center, but we said maybe we could leverage a public-private partnership with Arthrex, FGCU, and the county at that location because it's a great spot. And I think that's an opportunity we're going to explore. Encompass Health just announced close to $100 million investment, 50-bed hospital on Collier Boulevard. I'm only hitting a couple of these. There are many, many more, and I'm kind of pop around and just get you a feel that money is still coming to Collier and construction projects are still turning dirt right now. This is a big one. This just had their pre-application meeting. This is close to 1 million square foot logistics distribution major warehouse that's coming to Collier County by Uline Corporation. If you get the chance, look up Liz Uline, powerful businesswoman out of the Wisconsin area. This is going to be a $300 million build with 500 employees. And I was on the phone with her and she says, I pay my employees well. You think about warehouse work, it's a lot of automation, a lot of distribution. It's near the sports complex, near City Gate, and we expect them to turn dirt in about 6 months, and it's a big project. Bayshore CRA, we just took down the cell tower, talked to Fred Pozeshkin and Jerry. They're going to start probably with a large tower that's going to go there, and right next to them is a closing at the Gateway Triangle Tip for another condo and hotel space that's going there. Very high end. Again, when you look at the numbers here, this is $150 to $200 million investment in construction. So, you know, just the ones I'm talking about alone today will get close to $1 billion of investment coming to Collier County in construction. So that's a positive note. Well, we talked about some of these good things. Now we're talking about some of the challenges. We're starting to get the information today coming from the Acuna model from FGCU about potential high tide heights above median sea level and what it means with sea level rise. You know, there's no question you can't bury your head in the sand, no pun intended. We are experiencing sea level rise. So what do? The data is coming out. Collier County is going to start a resiliency and planning study. But all those red areas are the areas that we're really concerned about. You can see they're just south and west of 41. And as you transition north and northeast, you're in better shape. A little bit of a heat map. I've shown this before just to give you a feel for where the inspections are going. Now, we expected, I call it the south heat map area, the 41 corridor, to be big. But you're seeing a lot more along Mockley Road and then that trend going to northeast. And I think that northeast trend is really going to take shape over the next 3 to 5 years. You're going to see a lot of investment from the county and a lot of developer interest. This is just to tell you that every year we look at the road. I think it's important why businesses and residents come to Collier County. You've got to keep up with the infrastructure. And we've made a commitment in the 15 years I've been here, and even before that, to every year look at what we need to do, build out our road network, plan ahead over the 5 years, and make sure it's robust and can handle the capacity of a growing community. This was a map created by Tim Nance called the Green Map. If you look at anything that's white, it's the potential developable area in that. So you talk about at 41, the North Balmead area, along Immokalee Road to heading to the north and northeast. But large projects will go in these white areas, and we're preserving more and more of the green areas. Talk a little bit about Eastern Development. Collier Enterprise is another one of our sponsors, and they've got 3 or 4 big projects that they're working with the county to combine it back into the town. If you remember the controversy that took place a little bit a couple years ago, they brought a town forward and then they pulled back on the town because of their concern of the cost and the implications. So they broke it into 3 smaller projects. The board really expressed concern about that. Now they're working with the county proactively to actually come back with a town plan again. And then Mr. Green with the Immokalee Road Rural Village is coming forward right now. So tremendous amount of growth in the northeast area. And this isn't sprawl growth, this is master plan growth. So it comes across a lot better. We've broken our Collier County, our planning into 4 core campuses. Core Campus 1 is where we are at the main government center, judicial, administrative, legislative, with the sheriff offices here. Well, 2, Core Campus 2, I'll talk about later. But Core Campus 3 is where all this growth has taken place. So you can see some of the things that are there. It's all the government services right near where the growth is taking place. The big Corkscrew Island Regional Park is going to open up the first phase this November. This is an $80 million project, by the way, kind of like North Collier Regional Park at Livingston Road. And the north part of that, northwest of your screen, is what's going to open up, and then we'll start the south relay configuration. A lot of green space in this park, a lot of passive and active recreation. The IFAS building's just been redone. Obviously, we've got the EMS and Collier County Sheriff Substation. Our nicest recycling center in Collier County just opened up here in that area. And then the northeast facilities. That location, the last slide in green I'm showing you right now, is a $250 million investment over the next 3 to 5 years. 250 million plus, with a new plant that will connect everything we do. These are the water sewer lines that we're putting in response to growth. The bottom left-hand of your screen is that little green area that we just talked about. And now we're in middle of construction of running lines out to Rivergrass and Hyde Park, running lines up to Immokalee Road and the rural village. You know, what do we invest in? This is the stuff you don't see, and I got to give a lot of credit to Dr. Yilmaz. The green pipes, the sewer, the blue pipes, the lines on your screen is the water, and the purple pipe is the reuse water that's there. Dr. George, we affectionately call him a little bit of the mad scientist because what's going on underground, he is connecting and interconnecting all of this stuff and putting generators on this. I'm amazed when I meet with him every 2 weeks to go over his project and delivery of what he's doing to make sure this is resilient. Obviously responding to growth as well too. On the transportation side, the board approved Alternative 2+. This is that same area where the villages are coming, Randall Boulevard, Vanderbilt Beach Road. When you look at all the network capacity here, that's about $300 million in projects that'll come forward over the next 5 to 10 years to respond to the growth that's out there. And the big one, what I'll tell you about is VBR extension. This starts in less than 12 months. If you've driven on Livingston Road, what I would say is this is the equivalent east-west facility to Livingston Road. You know how important Livingston is to us. VBR, surtax $74 million. This project is about $125 million. So this construction machine I talk about, public and private, is so important because it provides jobs and it maintains that quality of life that we have going on. This will be the biggest relief to Immokalee Road. A lot of credit to Governor DeSantis because he's a big environmental person. He always talks about protecting the environment, but he understands that these road projects, this Southwest Central Florida connector, we will not be able to widen 75 wide enough or the interchanges to make it work. So he's looking at this corridor on the eastern side of Collier County that will connect 75 all the way up to Orlando. So you talk about a destination hub and spurring more growth. You can imagine right now it takes you about 3.5 hours to get to Orlando. When this is done, they predict that to be closer to 2 hours. So an hour and 15 minutes to the East Coast, 1 to 2 hours to Tampa, Hillsborough, and 2 hours to Orlando from South Florida. That's a big change. And they're pushing that project forward as fast as they can. Core Campus 2, if you look at kind of orient yourself with 951 and I-75, this is where all the activities taking place right now. Close to $1 billion in investment over the next 10 years with everything going on in infrastructure and developments. I mentioned Uline in the middle of your green. The county's got the sports complex, the landfill, the water plant, the golf course, Amazon coming to this location. And with DOT at the end, I'll show you one of the slides where they're rebuilding the whole interchange just to accommodate all the growth that's taking place at this location. Next slide, if it pops up, is this is that core campus. Sheriff Ramboss, we're going to build a $33 million Sheriff's Evidence Building in this location. We're also going to have a fuel depot. All the county logistics and operations are going to move here. So we're going to move out of the coastal high hazard area of Horseshoe Drive. We're going to move out of main campus for facilities. This is going to become the county's central logistics and operations center with the sheriff. Biosolids, Department of Animal Services is going to move out here. We designed this campus to accommodate government services, put sheriff in the back, close to $1 billion of investment here. Acquisitions. Just about a month ago, the board acquired Triple H Ranch, the Hussey piece, almost 1,000 acres for $10 million. You can see its relationship to the core campus. And when you look at that, there's sending lands involved and receiving lands. And the attractive thing about this purchase, when you say, why is the county involved in acquiring this? Well, we plan on the current roadway alignments in red. And what we've said to the board is, between the different partners we have, we can realign this road and put more property into the sending. We can work with Section 20, the mining interests, and actually develop something. Right now, the property is zoned for 585 units. With the changes in the rural fringe mixed-use district, there's the potential here. This will become the county's largest, what I'll call essential service housing project with 1,000 units. So when you build the road and the success we're having at the Golden Gate Golf Course to do a essential service housing project, this is the next phase of us. And then we'll talk about out east a little bit later on. Golden Gate Golf Course, again, county's into the development business, no different. We're planning ahead. We acquired the golf course for $29 million. You say, why would the county buy a golf course? What do you intend to do with it? Well, a large outcry about what to do with the project. And the board direction was, we want to maintain some sort of golf there or active recreation. So instead of 18 holes, it'll drop down to 12. And we're working right now with Big Shots, Club Corps. They're going to put a top golf, and they don't like using that word, but it's the only way I can really describe it to you, environment over there. As well, this is the site for the Veterans Nursing Home, as well as 350 to 400 essential service housing. We worked with the Community Foundation in Moorings Park. They're putting a $10 million investment, and the county is going to put in what I'll call the land, and some we'll acquire the land and work with them on that piece. So that's kind of the layout and the pieces that are. The purple is the Veterans Nursing Home. The green is the big shots. Yellow and red are future development tracks for us. And then the housing is at the bottom right-hand corner of that piece that's there. Give you a feel for what Big Shots looks like and what they're investing in. This agreement is coming to the board in the fall. It's a really high-end recreation piece with a 12-hole golf course. Golden Gate City, again, everything's happening at this location. Kind of orientate yourself with there. Now, Collier County Sports Complex. I get chastised a lot for the cost and timing of this. This is a $100 million project. The amount of attraction this is bringing in forward right now, with Uline at the southwest side of this thing, we're going to reconfigure the lake. They want to partner with us to make more amenities around the lake, which when you'll see some of the pictures, you'll get a feel for truly what we're creating out there. 21 fields, stadium, potential field house that serves as a shelter, and a large park. Give you some of the fields. This is a video that was taken recently. It's buffering right now. If it plays for a second. Just about, Jeff, how long ago? A couple weeks ago. We had 1,000 kids here in July from all over the country. Top Gun that we recruited from York California, York County, South Carolina. Give you a feel for where we were in March to where we were in July. You know, so you kind of go back and go, that happened that quick. When you do all the infrastructure, you turn it on pretty fast. March, July. And give you a feel for the Great Lawn. I think this is the biggest amenity that the community is really proud of. Everybody we've brought out here to look at this is tickled pink. It's like Baker Park and Canbier Park on steroids in terms of a community lifestyle area, large beach, recreation area, outdoor training area, beer and wine bar, amphitheater. I mean, you can't imagine the interest we're getting from USL teams, arts and culture folks that want to be here and do certain. So get a feel for that's the rendering, and this is what it looks like today as we turn it on. So pretty amazing when we get it done. That's what it'll be like in the next phase that they're constructing right now, finishing up in a couple weeks. And then the outdoor fitness and lifestyle area. Nothing like it in Florida. We merged USA Shade with Move Strong out of Tennessee, and they built one of the largest outdoor functional fitness areas in the country. And we're going to be opening that up in about 4 or 5 weeks. With COVID and people not wanting to be confined to closed spaces, you can imagine having a 1-mile track with fitness bump outs in an outdoor training area, what that's going to be like for Collier County. The championship venue is under construction right now, 3,500 seat stadium. We're already talking to concert promoters. USL is looking to bring either a women's or men's team here, just to lease it for 20 games a year. And then that big screen on the north side of the stadium has the amphitheater that faces the Great Lawn. So that's why it's truly a lifestyle, arts and entertainment and sports complex, not just sports. Phase 2 is coming to the board in about September. We'll start clearing 120 acres and building the fields to the east this fall and have that ready, a portion of that next spring as the complex expands, just to give you a feel for what it looks like. So again, it's at this interchange. I can't stress enough how much activity. There isn't a day that Sean and I and the rest of the team, Jeff, don't sit and meet with somebody to talk about what's going on here. The Benderson Group, where that 951 is labeled to the west, is going to rezone their property to mixed use. Amazon is coming at the southwest of that interchange as a last mile distribution center. So the area is just on fire with activity. You know, if I had to put a number to it, I'd say within the next 5 years, there's $1.5 billion of businesses and infrastructure going on here, right at the center of Collier County where I-75 and 951 meet. This will be the first location that Collier County takes us something like the East Coast we see from DOT. The minute you drive across the alley, you get to the Fort Lauderdale area, you see the spaghetti loops. DOT has it's close to $100 million. They're going to rebuild all the interchanges and take things aerial. They realize this is a growing area, and that'll come in about 2024, assuming their budget stays intact. So it'll be the first time in Collier County you see something similar to see on the East Coast or other parts of the country where they go vertical in a lot of their infrastructure here. This is important, I think, for all of you that have participated, especially the Chamber, with the sales surtax projects. You know, we've gone through validation with the committee. You can get a feel for what's going on in terms of the validation of these projects. A lot of the transportation facilities projects have already started and gone out the door. The ones that are lagging that take longer are the bottom ones. Obviously, they're community priorities, but you can imagine what we're going through. With the Career and Technical Training Center, we're still working with schools and universities to determine and define who's going to run that. We've got some ideas on location. I think a big push in 2021 will be to turn that on and get that going. The VA nursing home is really outside of our control. We've identified a location. We've put our what I'll call preliminary application in with the state, and our lobbyists are working with the federal government to bring that VA nursing home to Collier County within that 7-year period of this sales tax. The Workforce Housing Land Trust, while nothing's been validated, all the projects are in motion. We talked about the golf course a little bit, having 400 roughly units of workforce essential housing. When we turn over the acquisition, the money will come out of there. I mentioned the Hussey piece. We're going to start the planning and zoning for that. And we actually have 1,500 acres out in that area where I talked about with the Collier Enterprises projects, where we're looking at another piece out there for workforce housing. So that trust fund is going to help to acquire and build all of these, and they're all coming to fruition right now. The mental health facility, the final study is being turned over in a couple weeks to us. We'll do the final review. So there are two things going on with that that are important. One is the programmatic, and one is the siting of the facility. So we're still looking next to the David Lawrence Center or on main campus here in Collier County. But I expect the board in the fall will make a decision, and we'll bring this project to the committee next spring to validate and start this project going forward. So those are about to kick on. The rest of the projects are all moving forward, and a lot of them are under construction or encumbered and going forward. So that's good. Our execution teams meet once a month to make sure that's done. So I mean, just to kind of give you a feel, all this is done in the boardroom and validated with the committee that's very public. They ask a lot of tough questions. Sometimes they get us a little agitated because, these projects were brought in front of the board. But I think at the end of these meetings, the public is really gets a feel that we're spending this money judiciously, and everything that's going out the door is proper. Community projects I already talked about, so I won't go over those again. I put them up on the screen just to make sure to let you all know that we're working on those. They're just a lot harder than typical infrastructure projects. I've tried to cover, I think, what's a good mix of the struggles we have and the opportunities that are coming in. I can tell you a day doesn't go by where there's people not poking at Collier County, and I'll tell you my opinion as to why. I think a good school system, the good climate we have down here, the infrastructure that's in place, and kudos to the sheriff and Dr. Patton. It's a safe place to live. So we are seeing a huge influx talking to neighbor about people leaving other parts of the country and saying, if I had to pick a place to be now sooner than later, where would it be? And we keep popping up. So real estate stays pretty strong, investment stays pretty strong. If we protect those areas, I think we continue to prosper. And as long as we keep up with the infrastructure, I think we do a good job of staying one of the top markets here. Again, kudos to Michael and the Chamber, because you guys, through your leadership programs, keep us all together and communicating. I was fortunate enough, Michael, to do the video with Amanda, and I think they asked me, what is the benefit of the Chamber and leadership Collier programs? And I said, the communication and network we built. That first slide I kicked off with that teamwork picture, that's what it feels like. So kudos to you guys. I think that does a lot to keep us together. So thank you. That's the end of my presentation. I could have gone a lot longer, but I tried to give you a little bit of everything.
Nick, you did a great job. Thank you so much. Anybody goes through that many slides, you did a great job with that. So I commend you there. And thank you so much for all the work that you do. You do a tremendous job, and the whole county staff does a great job in giving us a great place to live, work, and play. And we really appreciate working with you. So I've got some questions. Okay. And I'll go down through these. We'll try to kind of go through them quick. We got a lot of questions here, so it's kind of nice, but that's good. That means of the 118 at one point in time, people that were on there, that's pretty great. Okay, so a quick one. In the sports complex, are there also playground and splash pad activities kind of for, think, younger children? Is that part of the mix?
That's part of the mix. There's an area we've set aside that's going to come in the back phase that will have a ropes climbing course, splash pad, and miniature golf. So more of an, I'll call it a, recreation. And we're actually working with Greater Naples Fire maybe to put a fire tower out there and turning it into an 85-foot tall climbing wall that'll have both kids and professional climbing. So a lot of good stuff.
Why not? Why not? That's
Right.
great. Very good. Okay, a question about, you talked a lot of different infrastructure components, which thank goodness all that work is being done. It's the stuff that, we don't really see, and it's behind the scenes, but it's really what has to be there for us to be able to have a great community. Talk a little bit about communications infrastructure. And so the question was from Andy Hill about, our ability to keep up with cell capacity, web internet connections, going from 5G to 6G. How's that also happening within the county?
The county itself, recognizing that's a need for not only ourselves, but we have our own fiber network. Believe it or not, we run fiber in our roads and connect all of our systems there. A lot of activity going on through the permitting process to mount these smaller 5G repeaters. If you watched the board meeting a while back, there was one gentleman that wanted us to stop the 5G because of the fear of where it was going.
Right.
The state, and I guess to Andy's question, has really preempted the local governments to say, you can't stop it. And in a way, that's a good thing, because we get into these things that are more what I'll call critical infrastructure, as you and Andy know. It's coming privately. They're not telling us a lot about it other than they're pulling permits to get on our network and turn things on. But we're not in their way. We're letting them do what they need to do.
Very good. Okay, talked a little bit about moving the Department of Animal Services to Core Campus 2. What would be done with the property that it's on right now?
The property with the buildings as it sits right now is appraised at about $4 million. The land value is about 1.5. So we're going to ask the board two options. One, three options. We keep it in our inventory as we move from animal services and we see if we need it for anything else. Two, we sell it as is, condition right now, take that money and reappropriate to different projects. Or three, we keep it and use it as another housing project that we can do going forward. So we'll present all three options to the board, and we'll talk about the pros and cons and let them decide what they want to do with the property.
Very good.
Yeah.
So you mentioned a lot of projects, a lot of both public sector builds and private sector builds going on right there. A question about just how does the general public get access to jobs? I mean, there are going to be a lot of jobs in that development work, and just maybe knowing how to make those connections both on to the contractors that are going to be doing the work.
Great question. I think Sean Callahan, his credit is revamping the economic development side to take a different approach, more communicative and collaborative, just to get the information out. So one of the things he's tasked with is, as these businesses come in, to get the message out about what's going on. A lot of these guys at first sign NDAs, non-disclose agreements, till they get to a certain point. And then Sean's communication plan for this fall, as we talked about with the TDC, we said, rethink, refocus, is when we're comfortable, is to really say Collier County is exploding in businesses. The hotel, what I'll call experiential side, is back open again, and a communications plan going out this fall. I think everybody's a little hesitant to do that right now, and these projects are just starting to get out the door. But that is our goal, to get the message out about everything that's going on.
Very good. Good job. Thank you. Okay, talk a little bit about, you mentioned about sea level rise and those that map with the colors on it there. What specifically are there things that the county is trying to do to try to address that? I guess sometimes people think about Miami Beach area and raising up road beds or putting in pump systems or things. What's going on in the county's minds about how to handle sea level rise?
Great question, Michael. So the Army Corps right now has taken over our beach renourishment and resiliency program right now, which is a good thing, because we've applied many times to get the U.S. Army Corps to take it on, and we've been turned down. Now they're actually on board. So at the same time we're doing the study with FGCU, the Army Corps proposals coming out. It should be coming out next week for public comment. And they talk about higher and wider beaches, dune system, and actually lock systems up in the north part of the county, where they actually put flood control structures to help protect the inner part of the county. with that, we're going to do that resiliency study with FGCU. We're really going to say is, look, you don't have to panic, but you need to start thinking, if it's a 50-year infrastructure project, a building, you want to increase the freeboard, you want to raise it. Whenever we do any of our capital projects, bridges that we just did in Southern Collier, we're building in factors to raise them up even higher. So if you're a builder developer, right now, a lot of your banks are making you do a resiliency analysis as part of lending you money. And this information will come out for public comment probably this fall. So the public will get exposed to a little bit about what we're looking at. It's not a panic situation. It is a little bit of musical chairs 40 years out. Someone at the end is going to be stuck owning something on the beach that probably will need to be rebuilt at some point in time, as is.
No, good point. Appreciate that. And thanks for the comment about the questions. We got great questions from all these people who are on the call, which is great. It's great to see. Okay, I like this question here. It's all right. So we talked about a number of different things. We were kind of looking into the future here. Is there one project that you would like to see happen as you look forward in the next maybe 5-10 years? You know, what's the one big thing you'd like to see the county tackle or deal with in the next years? Yeah.
Mike, I couldn't pick one, Michael. I mean, it is a buffet of projects that, you know, we meet as a capital delivery team every 3 weeks, engineers, project managers, and it is a rah-rah session. We are just, because there's so many projects that are coming out. I think that 951 I-75 corridor, I'd say collectively, I want to see that come across and planned and delivered well, because it's got a lot of opportunity there. VBR is the other one. Immokalee Road, I get a lot of complaints about the traffic on Immokalee Road, and the Vanderbilt Beach Road extension is probably the one project I say we got to get that done, because the stress on Immokalee Road can't continue, and that's been a project that's lingered for a long time. But kind of those two areas, but I'd say we got to get it all done. You know?
Right, understand. Talk a little bit about growth along the East Trail. Maybe, and some, I know there's, I believe there's road widening project there as well.
Yeah, a lot of the road widening projects on the East Trail have been done and completed. You know, that 6L Farms piece is the big one that comes on. It's a lot of redevelopment on the East Trail right now. Near the campus, we just had the project acquired here where there's going to be an apartment complex coming in. You know, as you get closer to the city of Naples on the East Trail, there's a lot of activity there as you get. And a lot of existing projects, as you know, Sable Bay, Treviso, those are still have a lot of development capacity left. So we don't talk about them as new projects, but they're ongoing and developing and growing. And then we see a lot of tire kicking redevelopment projects, especially in this CRA. I can tell you Rebecca Maddox, who does the Celebration Food Truck Park,
right,
has acquired more property and is looking at more projects that are there. You know, I wish I'd bought property down in Bayshore 10 years ago, because it is transforming overnight, and
really
that
is.
CRA may go away at some point in time because of that. Yeah.
No, that's great. Well, okay, so let's shift a little gear and talk about redevelopment. How about redevelopment in areas where maybe there are strip malls that kind of are dying out a little bit, or like the Kmart that's in Golden Gate City? What happens in those kind of areas?
Well, one of the slides I talked about, that economic development zone that's going to get finalized this fall with the criteria. We've talked to 4 or 5 developers who are ready that are waiting to see that take place. So I expect that with what we've done at the golf course, with that zone coming on, that will be just like the East Trail, or I'd call it in that CRA area. There's even new market tax credits that are available in that location. So a lot of activity, and if these investment continues, I think that's the next hot spot that'll come and gentrify in Collier County.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So, okay, so a question about how the business community can support all of this. You know, you've got a lot of different projects, and it may just be the concept of what can we be doing to help get the message across, or help people to understand what can we be doing as a business community. Obviously, very interested in all this, and just what can we do to help.
You know, a lot of when projects come forward, you know, the NIMBY, not in my backyard mentality. You know, we've dealt with that since I've been here. You bring a project forward, or you know, you're trying to explain, maybe help educate the community that a lot of the projects that are coming forward are already entitled. They're entitled to develop, because there's a lot of resistance to that. And if we partner with them, you can control. I always use the analogy of a cargo ship coming into port. You can't get in front of it and stop it. You're going to get growth in Collier County, but you can push it to the dock you want it to come into if you work together. So if you as the business community can help educate the public and just understand we're going to grow, this is a gem of a place in the country and people are going to come here. Let's be responsible in how we grow, but we're not going to grow and just shut the doors. It's just not going to happen. And if we stay educated as a community, I think that helps us out a lot.
Well, thank you, Nick. You did a great job. It's a great presentation and a lot of information. As I said, this session is recorded, so you can always go back and take a look at that. And I'm sure that you would be happy to answer questions if anyone had other questions that they wanted to get to you. And you can ask them through us. We're happy to do that as well. But we want to continue this partnership. We have had a very close working relationship with the county. We've made a lot of, I think we've been part of having a lot of great things happen within our county. And we want to see that going forward as we go into the future. So again, thank you so much, Nick, for taking the time and speaking with us today. My
pleasure, Michael. Sean of Naples Daily News. Looking forward to working with you in the future, you guys. Thanks.
Appreciate it. All right. Appreciate it. So as we close up for today, a couple of announcements I want to make, kind of a big one here in the beginning. We've got some events coming up here that we want to make sure everybody gets on the calendar. First off, we've got September 9, Wake Up Naples, which is going to be on the future of economic opportunity, which is going to be a great session to be able to learn a little bit more about what the Florida's Prosperity Project is all about, and the Florida Chamber, and we'll hear more about that. September 30th, you see the Chamber's annual meeting. Okay, so we've got a new date, and we're going virtual. So we'll have this virtual annual meeting. We'll be hosting a few different speakers that we'll talk during it. It'll be a great opportunity for us all to get together. It'll actually be in the afternoon from 3 to 5 on Wednesday, September 30th. So please mark that on your calendar. You can, I think registration's open right now that you can register for it, and we really appreciate the support. This is a major fundraiser opportunity for the Chamber, and we appreciate everyone who helps us out through that event. And then we also have the Chamber Classic Golf Tournament that's going to happen on the 23rd of October. That'll be at the club at the Strand. And so again, want to have kind of get both of those on your calendar. You're hearing it now first, and this is the announcement. More information will be going out about it, but just wanted you guys on the call to know about that. As always, with any of our events, you can go to our website, napleschamber.org/events, and get all the information you need off of that. We really, again, want to thank all the sponsors that make these events possible, and particularly our sponsor today, the Naples Daily News. Grateful to have the partnership with them as well. Thanks to all the series sponsors. Thanks to our investors who make this all possible. Those series sponsors are important for us to be able to do the work of Wake Up Naples. And we really appreciate everybody being on the call today. I think at the high point there was like 118, and so that was great to see so many people on the call and to be able to learn more about our county, and really appreciate, again, Nick, the opportunity to brief us on what all is going on. We hope you always stay in touch with us. If there's any questions you ever have, please email us, call us, let us help you. Use the Chamber. That's what we're here for, is for you to be able to use us. We want to do whatever we can to help our members grow and thrive and succeed here in our region. So have a great rest of the week, and we hope you'll join us in September for the next version of Wake Up Naples. Thank you very much. Have a great day.